in continuation of the process, so I've reverted the posting change setup as blank, and it means that system is not going to determine a destination bin. It is just going to, and make sure that once you have done this change, make sure to restart the transaction, because it still holds the older information, the setup, it's not reading the recent info. So, which I don't like, but so again, we are using the same material, and we'll see that, the stock type for this one. Let's see the stock type, this one. Right now it is F2. Let's change it to Q4. We'll retain the product in the handling unit. And let's say we'll keep it blank in this case, because the setting which we have done is that the stock is not supposed to be moved out of the bin. It will stay in the same bin. And 4012 doesn't have any default stock type tag to it. So it's picking Q3. Now let's take a look at the configuration. Why is it enforcing Q3? Yeah, so at the storage type level, the availability group which is mentioned in this particular storage type is 002, and the quality stock tag to it is Q. Sorry, the availability group is 002. So now let's look at the setting here in this to determine why it is bringing Q3. Okay, because 4012 is tagged to Q3. So what we will do is we'll flip the value in the WPT. So let's use something else, and we'll use Q4, because at the storage type level 50 we have availability group 002. And now in the WPT 4010, let me go to 4010. We want to make sure that the posting change setting is not 2, it should be blank. And if it is not yet, we have to restart. After doing the change in the configuration, we have to restart the transaction, just to make sure that system is reading the most recent info and we get the expected results. So it's now right now 2. Let's make it blank. And what it means is that even though the stock type is changed, the stock is not moving out of the bin, and there is no document type mapped right now here. So let's restart it again. So once we have done this setup, what it implies is that the destination bin system won't be determining based on any strategy. It will just use whatever is the source one, and we should be able to conclude the process right away. So the task is created. Now let's see the outcome on S4 side. Q4 belongs to CS03, so we still have 3 quantity under CS03 but in quality inspection, and same should be reflecting in EWM. So we'll refresh the data here also. So it is coming in Q4 and the bin is same as the earlier one. Now what we want to, so this is how, these are the option for the IM post. Now we will see another feature provided by SAP, wherein we will not be creating, or right away we won't be doing the stock type changes. What we want to do is we want to initiate the process, but we want to create a warehouse request instead of concluding it right away, so that maybe the warehouse requests are getting assigned to a wave, and then at the at particular time we are releasing the wave and then carrying out all these activities at the same time for all the warehouse requests rather than doing processing them one by one. So we will set up, we have set this up like this. Now we have not still not changed this value, so we'll restart the transaction just to make sure that we get the system is reading the most recent changes we have done in the system. So let's select this and we'll click on create warehouse request. If you won't populate the default document type in the WPT, it will give the error. So as you can see, it is giving in my case because we have not entered any WPT till now. I've just initiated the process. So via the WPT system will determine the document type which it has to utilize for the and you can see the wave is also mentioned here, right? So now the stock type, let's say we are saying it should be F2. So let's create and save. Sorry, I should have clicked on the other button. No worries, we'll redo it. So now we will restart it again. Click here, enter the quantity, enter the WPT. And the WPT is mainly controlling your bin determination, your stock type, your document type for the warehouse request, your queue determination. So the document ending with 307 has been created. So that is a warehouse request. Now to access this document, delivery document, you have to use transaction IM underscore PC. It won't be available in your PRD or PRDI. For this process, they have created, this transaction. Now in the validation, you can check if there are any error. I mean, it will show the traffic light as red, but you can check this. Then the item details are, we already populated them in IM post, and those are that is the data which is passed on over here. see the details. So we didn't populate any destination bin, etc. But the stock type we did populate as Q4 as the destination one. We can see, right? And we can check the delivery document type here as TWPR. This is the doc category. So document category implies whether you're doing the outbound process, inbound process, or any internal process. So they have created different document category. Even in S4 in I recall we used to have for external document F, for internal like purchase execution and all it was I think B or something. But yes. Now at the item level also you can see the item type will be TWPR. So this is getting determined from the WPT, right? And we did that. And these values are standard which are derived from the BC set, or via the BC set we can, you know. Now one thing so if you notice here the status is coming as completed. The warehouse activity is coming as completed because we didn't change the uh, posting change, the WPT setup. We said that in the same bin it is allowed. So even though you will, let's say you're initiating a process in Migo and the WPT setup says in the same bin the activity is allowed. The Migo activity will create a delivery, but even in it is, even though the warehouse task or order is not created, but the process gets concluded right away. So if we want to use it, and Migo is one of the example, if we have not activated SyncGR, so you're posting the document in Migo, but it is kind of simultaneously, doing the activity in EWM, even though delivery document is created, and before, even without the warehouse order and warehouse task, it will conclude the process. Now, if we do it, if we change the set that it should not be posted in the same bin. Now let's see what is the difference. And now we have changed the stock type from quality to, I think, I don't know, or F2 to quality. Let's see. So I think it was F2 to quality, so it is still in 3, and we can see here. Yeah. So now we'll do it the other way around. So what we are going to do is we are going to change the stock type from quality to F2. And at this point of time, we want system should not be concluding the process till the warehouse request is converted into warehouse task and order. And that is, as like I said, it will be used when your warehouse really requires a physical move. But if you have a product which is not physically available, then it doesn't make sense in that scenario. So let me put, or I can, let's use a different bin in the same storage type. Let's use this bin. And instead of creating the warehouse request, warehouse order, we will initiate the warehouse request creation. And now, even though we are creating, performing the same steps as we did earlier, the only thing is that it should not result into immediate change in the stock status in S4 as well as in EWM level, because we have to physically move the product while we are, and that physical move should also conclude the change in the stock type. So as we can see, it has not yet resulted any change in the stock type. Now we will use 308. So this is the destination one. Now we can see the warehouse activity is coming as not completed, not started. Unlike in the previous run, it was coming as completed just by creating the warehouse request. And in general, I don't think it will make sense to create a warehouse request when you're doing immediate confirmation. This warehouse request, the scenario which we did earlier, will be a result of a transfer posting generated from Ego. And if the WPT has a setup as blank, it will conclude, the moment you do this in Migo, it will create a delivery document here and it will conclude it as well. There is no subsequent activity done by the operator. Now, in this case, so let's see. So system has not passed on the destination bin from our warehouse request, and it is relying on the put away strategies which I have not defined. So I'm selecting a value manually. Once the warehouse request document is created, we can assign the warehouse order to a queue. Ideally, I would say, I mean, this won't be done at the runtime. There is a missing configuration in the resource part, resource management. So if it is set up properly, you have the source destination activity area WPT activity type based on this, which you can define it. And then it will populate the value accordingly automatically. The reason why we want to create a warehouse task is we want to give the opportunity or mechanism wherein the operator will use the handle device and they will process the data, right? So 51730 is the warehouse order. So this is the one. So physically what this transaction is depicting is that physically the operator is picking the product. They went to the bin, they accessed the queue and system presented the work to them. Then they went here and entered the quantity. I mean, they won't be entering, they'll be scanning the GS1 or split barcode and whatnot. So a lot of when we are doing it on the system, there are a lot of factors we are ignoring, like the handling unit which was created, how they are going to get the label for that. So because it was an internal generate number which was generated, so on which printer they'll get it and all that. But for now, let's stick to this process. We have concluded the transaction now, and we will check in S4 first, and then we'll come back to this transaction. So we can see the stock type. So we have so far seen two things.